Say ah. Say ah.
What's good, anime enthusiasts? Welcome to my favorite episode for Shiboyugi. It had a lot of things going for it. We finally get to see Candlewoods, the infamous game that changed Yuki's perspective on how she sees life. And it has who I think is now my favorite character, who dethrones Mishiro, and that's saying something. And I can't believe it. I looked up two things for this episode just so I could understand it more, and it actually makes sense. The references make sense. Remember, each and every one of these death games has a reference to some sort of tale or idiom, be it in Japanese culture or some other culture, and it makes sense, and it kind of gives you a hint and a detail on what the girls need to do. And this one has at least two, but it also has, not related to the references, but like themes that's going on between all of the girls in this death game. So let's jump into it. So the episode begins with Yuki overlooking the highway, and it's a pretty long scene. Nothing really happens. It's just Yuki in her everyday wear, and then we see a scene where Yuki is walking up into this light, and who I hear, and I think it's the agent or it might be her mentor, saying that, hey, I want to invite you to play in the game Candlewoods. Yes, that Candlewoods, the infamous game that changed Yuki's perspective. So, like all other death games, we get the whole black ink thing. The voices in the back of our head say, I'll be back. And we see the title, number 9, Candlewoods. We begin with hearing the sounds of the forest, and we see Yuki waking up, but when you hear it, the sounds seem off. They had a little bit of distortion to them. Well, it makes sense because they're coming from a speaker. They're not in the woods, they're not in the forest. It's all fake. And you get to see that Yuki is in a bunny costume, a bunny suit. No, we're not going like the Playboy Mansion or anything, but why are they dressed in this outfit? Is it for the people that's watching? Possibly. So Yuki walks down the hall, and it opens up into this big open concert hall slash like atrium area, and there's several players here, like more than Golden Bathhouse, and all of them are also dressed in these bunny girl outfits. And so Yuki walks around, and she walks over to one person, and they greet her. It's a mentor, Hakushi. Oh, at this point in time, it's been 3 months since they last, met and talked together. And after a bit of small talk, Yuki looks around at all the other girls, and she guesses that all of these players, most of them are beginners. And then Hakushi, her mentor, says, no, most of them are regulars, and they'll probably start from 6 hours from now. And so her mentor drags Yuki along, go for a walk around, and they get to talking a little bit more. We get to find out that this is Hakushi's 96th game, and her goal is to actually go for 99. Why? We don't know. She's going for 99 games. Something that Yuki later on is striving for. So maybe her mentor is like her inspiration. But her mentor definitely wants to be careful now that she has 4 more games left to get through, Now, at this point, maybe the game showrunners are like trying to make things a lot more difficult to her, or maybe that she's really trying to be cautious about things. And then Yuki notices that a Tanuki doll has been like beaten up and ripped into, and her mentor is like, yeah, that's the explainer. We beat it up because we thought there was an item hidden inside it. And Yuki's like, so we're just cool with beating up Tanukis? Also, if you see the subtitles that say raccoon dog, it's like another description for it. And so her mentor is like, well, if it was a turtle or a wolf, I would have left it alone. But it's a Tanuki. And the reason why is that rabbits beat tanukis, like in Kachi Kachi Mountain. Now, I looked this up, and it's an old, Japanese, I want to say Japanese tale, Kachi Kachi Mountain, which translate to crackling mountain. To make this story as short as possible, there's a farmer. Farmer works in the field day in and day out. And there's a tanuki, and the tanuki is mischievous and rips through the field so many times that the farmer gets tired of it. So the farmer wants to hunt down the tanuki, and he's unsuccessful. So he lays traps, and then eventually, through his persistence, he catches a tanuki in a hole that he dug. So the farmer brings the tanuki back to his house, hog ties him up into the rafters, and he tells his wife, "We're cooking that tanuki for a soup tonight." And he goes back out into the fields, and he tells his wife, "Hey, yo, don't untie him." And so the tanuki, who doesn't want to get turned into soup, is a very conniving individual, and he pleads to the old woman, "Please let me down, please let me go." And the old woman's like, no, I can't let you down. And of course, the tanuki slowly working his mischievous silver tongue. And the old lady is such a kind heart. She can't really see too much evil. And so the tanuki is able to successfully get the woman to let him go and help her out with the barley. She's got a pestle and mortar. So the woman gives the tanuki the pestle and mortar to the tanuki. Unsuspecting to the old woman, takes that pestle, cracks it over her head, kills her, cuts her up into pieces, makes soup out of her. And then he transforms into the old woman, the wife. And then the farmer, he comes back home from a long day of work, and the tanuki, dressed as the wife, he was like, "Well, I already cooked the tanuki for you. Here you go." The farmer gets served the soup, and just before he takes that bite, the tanuki transforms like, "Gotcha, you wife eater." Better watch out for them bones, bucko. And he dips. The farmer crying his eyes out, crying his heart out. All the while, the rabbit in the hills, he listens and he goes, something's going on. So he goes down to the hill, goes down to the farmer. The farmer gives him the story, what's going on. And then the rabbit's like, "I got you, fam. Don't worry." So the rabbit punishes Tanuki. How? The next day, the rabbit wakes up to Tanuki and goes, "Hey, yo, Tanuki, let's go get some grass." And so the rabbit and Tanuki, who are, friends, they go up into the mountains. They cut down some grass, and the rabbit tells the Tanuki to go forward first. And while the Tanuki is going down, the rabbit takes out some flint and some steels, and he lights the grass on the Tanuki's back, turning into a fire, burning it. That's where the kachi kachi comes from. The crackling mountain. When you hit flint and steel together, it makes that crack sound. And so while the grass is burning, Tanuki's body is getting burned. And then eventually, the rabbit helps the Tanuki, and they get back home. And Tanuki, he's burned on his back. He's got severe burns. And the rabbit's like, "I got some ointment for you. I can make some medicine for you." He goes back home, gets some peppers, and it's not even ointment. Goes back to the Tanuki, slaps it on his burns, makes it even worse. But eventually, the Tanuki does get better. And on the day of the Tanuki's full recovery, the rabbit goes like, "Hey, Tanuki, you want to go fishing?" Tanuki, unsuspecting, goes like, "Yeah, let's go fishing." So the rabbit makes two boats, one made of wood, one made of clay. Gives the clay boat to the Tanuki. They go fishing. What happens when water and clay mix? Clay softens. The Tanuki's boat starts sinking. Tanuki's like, "Yo, rabbit, help me out." And the rabbits go like, "You done poorly well to kill that old wife." Tanuki takes his oar, smacks it into him, and Tanuki drowns. Later on, the rabbit goes to the farmer's house, goes like, "Hey, yo, job's good." So with that long explanation aside, that is why all of the bunny girls, the rabbits, were okay with taking down the Tanuki explainer doll. Boom. So with that being said, Hakushi explains the rules for the game. It's hide and seek. If the rabbits survive for a week, they win. And the other team, they're called a stump, they win if they kill at least 5 rabbits. And she theorizes that the stumps are probably given some kind of equipment. And of course, this leads into the other reference, the other short story called The Rabbit and the Stump. Now this one story is a lot simpler and a lot shorter. Very simple story. One day there's a farmer. A lot of these stories starting with a farmer now. So there's a farmer who works in the fields and he sees a rabbit. The rabbit dashes through the fields, runs into a stump and dies. And the farmer's like, goes over to the rabbit, picks it up, cooks it up for the night. And he's like, if a rabbit's gonna run into my stump like that, I might as well not even work anymore. So the farmer stops working in the field, starts working with his crops and everything, and just waits at the stump, waiting for another rabbit to come by. He waits a day, 2 days, a week, a month. No rabbits come by. The weed starts to overtake his crops, and his fields are tarnished, and he becomes a laughing stock of the whole entire place, because why are you waiting on the stump for a rabbit? And the moral of that story is, you're not supposed to wait for good things to come to you. You're supposed to work for them, you know? Don't be lazy. All that good stuff. See? Short and simple story. So that coincides with this game, is that Yuki and Hakushi's team, they're the rabbits. They're trying to survive against the stumps, the ones that kill the rabbits from one thing or another. So next, we get a repeat of the black stuff. You know, hearing the voices, I'll be back. And we wake up with another girl. This time, she's got different color eyes, pink, like magenta, pink magenta, something like that nice. And she's got this nice little lime green hair. And she gets up and she looks around and she sees that she's with another group of girls. And all of them, including our new girl that we're following, are wearing these brown dresses. And there's a big clock / timer in the back. And the girl, and our woken up girl, introduces herself. She's Mogi. And Mogi starts asking all the girls questions about the games. Like, what are the rules? Like, what are you supposed to be doing? And everyone's just remaining silent. They don't know what she's talking about. They're thinking that she's weird. And it dawns on Mogi that, oh my god, all of these girls, it's their first time. None of them know why they're there. Moigi's the only veteran in her group. Ooh, this is reminding me of Yuki and in the mansion. So, Moigi starts going around the room. She goes up to a tree that has like this little face in it. And when she touches it, it animates it and begins to talk. It greets them as players and then rephrases them as stumps. And welcomes to Candle Woods. A door opens in the back and it reveals weapons, pistols, pine cone grenades, and knives. And the face says they'll be hunting wabbits. They're hunting wabbits. So this is a little bit of a short scene as they cut back to. They cut back to the rabbits, but it's actually Yuki and her mentor. And this is like the same scene setup as we saw in Golden Bathhouse one episode. And Hakushi drinks from the water. And this is like their little one-on-one moment time. We find out this is Yuki's like first full scale, like large game, like with so many girls. And Yuki's like surprised that so many quote unquote idiots are willing to risk their lives for a few million. And of course, me and Hakushi are like, Yuki, you're one to talk. You're in these games too. You're fighting for $1 million. And that's surprising though. That actually gives us the cost of the games. Like, you're fighting for like thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of whatever currency you have. You should be good after 1 or 2 games. Like, why do you keep playing after this? Like, your debt should be debt free. So Hakushi asks, yo Yuki, why do you play these games? And it's a very, very long pause. And Yuki just wonders herself, just asking her own question. And then we turn it back on to Hakushi. Like, there's no cash prize or trophy for beating 99 games. And all the mentor knows is that she heard that 98 consecutive wins is the record. So Hakushi's goal is to be the new record setter. And Yuki is still like questioning it. She just still doesn't understand. And Hakushi's like, you'll understand. And walks off. And then we cut back to actually all the rest of the other girls, all the other rabbits. And the rabbits in the rabbit team, they're discussing on like strategy and whatnot, what they need to do. And then Yuki gets greeted by a new girl that we haven't seen, but someone that she's seen, Sumiyaki, a 29 game veteran. And they seem to be buddy, good friends, or like at least acquaintances. And we learned that all the rabbits, they have incredible faith in Hakushi. Why? I mean, would you also not have faith in somebody who had 95 games underneath their belt? Like, that's your bona fide leader. Once you got somebody like that on your team, you're coasting. You're easy. You can slack off a little bit. Speaking of slacking off, for some reason we cut to, there's a group of girls in the back. They're like being idle, being messy, but like mean girl kind of things. It might come up later, but I still think that this is more they're chilling because we have Hakushi. We have this godlike player. We have nothing to worry about. Speaking of, the complete contrast, so to speak, is Moigi. And when we go cut back to them, we hear a gunshot. There's a girl on the floor, like struggling. And Moigi just throws a knife on the floor. He's like, hey, 2 stabs. Time to get some reps in. And then she looks over the girl and says, hey, yo, what's your name? And she introduces herself as Kabane. And she's like, hey, you up first. Moigi wants these girls to get that killer instinct, that feeling of, enacting the proper death of the rabbits. But of course, Kabane is like very hesitant. She doesn't want to do things. She makes up the excuses like, oh, this isn't fair. We should come up with like rock, paper, scissors, come up with an order. And Moigi ain't having it. It's kill or be killed, girl. And Kabane is like on her knees crying for forgiveness. And it's like, no. If a stump dies, that leaves more spots for the survivors, as Moe explains it. These rabbits, they're gonna try and kill us too, You need to get some reps in, or else every single member on our team that goes down makes it more difficult. We need 5. They just need to survive. But their odds increase if there's less of us. Makes sense? Hello? But the whole entire team, for the stumps, the girls, they're just being silent, and Kabane is just like crying, and the Kabane is like, I quit. I didn't think it'd be like this. And then and then Moe goes, yo, Moe get cold-blooded. And then, of course, with the example out of the way, let's get the stab in. And of course, each and all the girls, they're getting their stabs in, they're getting the reps in. And then one of the girls comes up to Moe and he goes, what do we do now? And then she says, yo, make sure everybody's armed. I'm gonna come up with a strategy. Don't come near me. Why? Well, we get a scene of Moe in the back just biting her own arm. And then we get these like scenes, and what I think this is her backstory. Like, it seems like a revenge story because on this Christmas day underneath the tree, a girl is celebrating with this white fluff, which is actually blood, and she's like over this other girl, and then Moige is like off in the corner, like looking at everything. And I don't know if the person who died is a friend, or mother, a sister, a cousin, whoever. But as the dialogue is like talking over everything, we learn that Moy is a strong character, a strong player who doesn't hesitate, and she doesn't care what she looks like. Oh, we got a cold-blooded killer who is coming back after so long just to meet her goal. I'm ready. And the episode ends. So, very, very, very interesting setup that we have. We have one team who's very content because they have like a 95 game veteran, and most of them are regulars too, which is kind of cool because they're on the quote unquote defending team, the escaping team. They have the skills, you know, to like escape, run around. They know what's going on. They know the business. That's why they're so like happy go lucky. They're okay. They don't have to worry things about. And then you have the other side, the stumps. They don't know anything except for one, their leader. They're fresh. They haven't had their first kill yet. So who better to lead them than a 29 game veteran Moege? I'm not 29 game veteran Moege. I'm thinking of the other girl. But no, Moege, the only veteran. It's her job to be the leader, to teach these girls that killer instinct, and to make sure that when they hold that pistol or throw those grenades or holds that knife, you are ensuring that you're getting your KD up to 5-0 and you're getting that ticket home. Otherwise, when you go down, it makes the rest of the girls weaker. So we need you to pull your weight. Oh, I can't wait to see what happens. Anyways, I did like the references to the stories that they had. Really cool. Puts it in perspective and actually makes me enjoy the episode a lot more now that I know these references and I can know what to expect. Because remember, like the rabbit and the stump, the whole entire theme is that don't wait for good things to come to you. Don't be complacent. Don't be lazy. So the rabbits, they can't be lazy. They need to be proactive, which is why they can increase their chances by taking out the stump girls. That's being proactive. They can't be caught out being lazy by just hiding out the entire time. Eventually they'll get found out. So it's better for them to move around and plan out and come up with a strategy. You know, that sort of thing. There's a lot of dynamics going on. Little intricate details. I dig that. I love that. But with that, let me know what y'all think in the comments below about this episode. I'm excited. I'm happy. I'm ready to go. I can't wait. I can't wait for next week, unfortunately. But we'll get there. We'll get there. If nothing else, I hope all of you have a good day, night, evening, morning, wherever you are in the world. And I hope your day is just a little bit better than it already is. With that, we'll catch y'all in the next episode. Peace.